Oh no, this is meta. We're gonna record the recording that we recorded on the same recording device that we recorded.
Thank you, Hideo.
Thanks, Hideo.
Thanks, Hideo.
Oh, by the way, we're going into the video.
I'll be
Pause it for a second, bro. Are you enjoying Death Stranding?
I'm in danger.
Old school on cassette tape. Funny I wore that shirt during this episode of Megabit Misfits. What is up, everybody? I am your host, Mr. Reyrey, and this is episode 19 of Megabit Misfits. And on this episode, me, Lee, and Rav discuss a couple of things that I think you guys are very interested in. One, Capcom Showcase. I completely missed it. Lee took it over. We speak about Street Fighter 6 and Monster Hunter Wild updates. On top of that, Xbox Layoffs. Could AI possibly be the reason? And finally, more Xbox news as they have partnered with the MetaQuest VR. That sounds interesting. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share, and please hit that music to start that freaking intro. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Megabit Misfits. Mr. Lee is going to be talking about something very special, and I want to hear about it because I didn't have the time to look it up. So
you didn't watch it today? You didn't watch it?
I was working, man.
Okay. All right. You got it. You got that.
I work a late shift and I sleep the rest of the time. All right, so tell me about this Capcom showcase that I completely missed.
Yeah, it was the Capcom Spotlight. This took me by surprise. I didn't even know they was having a Spotlight anything.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, called out.
No, nah. This make your money. Trust me. This was nothing to call out from. Believe that. Okay, they could have showed this during the Summer Game Fest, bro. Like, let's get into it. So I'm gonna cover.
This is so close to Summer Game Fest. Now that I'm thinking about it. It's so
just
close.
Like some weeks ago. Ago.
Not even a month ago. No, it was literally the beginning. June 5th.
It's literally beginning. Yes, the beginning of this month. Yeah. And I'm like, they really could have showed this or expound more on whatever during this time. I wasn't really moved by what they showed or what they talked about too much. It was like, yeah, you could have done this then. Why wait? Why sneak this up on us now? Like, I don't know.
It was probably cheaper.
Ooh. Could be. Well, I'm gonna talk about Street Fighter 6. I'm gonna talk about Street Fighter 6 and Monster Hunter Wild. So I got some notes here. So I didn't even know that. Remember we was talking about the games being released for the Switch too?
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 6 came out on the Switch too, June 5th.
Really?
I didn't know that. Yeah, that flew over the radar, bro. I didn't know nothing about that. So they were talking about they were happy and proud that the Street Fighter 6 game came out on June 5th. For the Nintendo Switch, which threw me off because I was like, I thought only certain games, the first party Nintendo games launched day one. I didn't know Street Fighter.
That's a graphic intensive game.
Well, according to them, it's running perfect on the Switch too.
Okay.
I mean, I take their word for it because I don't know. And another thing, I haven't heard nobody talk about it.
I don't think a lot of people know.
Probably, bro.
Because I have like 6 or 7 friends right now at my job that have the Switch too, and they watched our episode. And they're like, "Hey Ray, I know you were against it, but I bought it anyway. I love it. I know. I spent a lot of money. I spent a lot of money, but hey, I bought it. I love it. But yeah, I'm broke right now. I can't buy groceries. But I'm playing Mario World. I'm like, okay."
Yo, I would have died out laughing. He was like, "Yeah, you said play the games that you enjoy. Remember that's your motto."
Hey, it's their money, man. They enjoy it.
You enjoy it.
You spend your money.
Exactly.
Have a good time.
3 years. They've been. It says 3 years. The character lineup, like this year 3. I'm sorry, not 3 years. Year 3 character lineup. They were releasing some characters with the game Sagat, or Sagat, as they would say. Sea Viper.
Okay, I forget. Sagat or Sagat came with the original Street Fighters.
Bro, that's a whole other story because Tekken does the same thing when he have these characters who
shit again.
the DLC now. These regular characters. This is the reason why Kruger doesn't play. He boycotted Tekken because Lei Wulong, they released him as a DLC character when he was always an original, not original character because he came in Tekken 2. He was a regular base character. Now you got him as DLC. Sagat was a regular base character. Even though he was a boss, somebody's going, yeah, but he was a boss to the game. He was a regular base character in the original Street Fighter games. Yeah, you may not be able to pick him until later on, but he's one of them original OG characters. Don't hide this character behind DLC wall. But anyway, you got him, C Viper, Alex, and Ingrid as the 4 characters that they announced are being pushed for this season. And then you have Sagat gear, his fighting style, because in the game you create your own character who can take on styles and forms of the other Street Fighter characters. So you kind of like learn from them in like the Street Fighter quasi open world game that they got going on in there. There's music tracks.
I like that.
Yeah, the game is pretty good. I mean, if they expound on that open world Street Fighter aspect, they got something there. I mean, I think this is just the testing grounds for that because I do enjoy that part of the game when I play it. They got added music tracks, characters to get more updates and cosmetics, and that was pretty much it that I saw from the showcase that they had for Street Fighter 6. Am I happy that this is happening? I don't know. The verdict on that is still out. It's yet to be in for me because it hasn't really registered. Because I'm like you said, he was a regular character, and you're adding him as DLC. I don't know how I feel about that because I want Street Fighter to win because then we get a better Street Fighter game next time. I want Tekken to win, all the fighting games to win. But it's like, I just feel like you just dumping cosmetics, DLC, characters that should have already been in the game. And it's
money grabs for things for the hey, be nostalgic. We're going to drop this as a DLC and hey, money grab type of thing. But Street Fighter 6, okay.
I will say this. They had some, they showed Ken and Ryu. Now, this is where, please, if you're doing the editing for this, please put this up on the screen. They had my man Ryu in his old, like, not old, but like his, no, not the white gi. They had him in like a gi that looked more traditional because I don't know if you play Street Fighter 6. Have you seen it?
I've seen a couple still images, but I haven't played Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2.
Okay, so if you get a chance, if you get a chance while you editing this, go look at how Ryu. He looks like a homeless hobo Street Fighter master. Okay, that's one. 2, they got my man Ken, who's a grand master. Okay, looking like a construction worker. I knew it as soon as I saw the pictures, the concept art for the game. Your man's look like a straight up construction worker. Okay, now to make it worse, they added a new cosmetic to both of these cats. They got Ryu and his gi, not the traditional white one, but it's like a gi. I think it's like navy blue or something like that. I can't remember off top, but it's like that color. Looks good on him. He don't have the scruffy beard because in the 6, he has a scruffy beard that makes him with the hobo aesthetic. So, but now he looks back to where he used to look.
Clean cut. Okay.
Clean cut, gi on, looking nice. Why they got my man's Ken in some chaps, pants, some tight ass jacket, no blonde hair. He has dirty brown hair, and it's flowing with he getting his eyebrows waxed. Like he looked wild, and I'm so mad. That's my favorite character in Street Fighter, and I'm so sick right now. Okay, man. That's one of the cosmetics they got going on for him. Okay, so they got that. Then they got like summer cosmetics for some of the other characters, like Cammy. I think Jamie, his joint looks tough. Luke, Chun-Li.
Did they bring back Dan? Did they bring back Dan?
Dan Hibiki? No. Is Dan in Street Fighter 6? No, I don't think Dan is in Street Fighter 6. Not yet.
Ken, Ryu, and Dan.
He could be. I haven't checked the updates on it to see if Dan is in the game. But yeah, Dan's one of my dudes. I like Dan. But yeah, other than that, they added some summer cosmetics, but they said they're going to add more to other characters in the game. But that's about it. Street Fighter 6, I was hoping for a little bit more from them on that. But then again, like we said before off camera, this should have been something. Or did we say it just now? This should have been something for Game Fest. When
first started.
Yeah, it should have been on Game Fest.
It definitely should have been something for Game Fest. Quick little side note for the Street Fighter, not the game, but the movie.
Okay.
they're making a Street Fighter movie
Mm-hmm.
after, because we spoke about it a little bit on the application. So what is it? 1994. The original Street
94,
Fighter.
94 was the original Street Fighter movie starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
that shit was horrible. That was terrible.
Hey,
Absolutely terrible.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something.
It was Raul Julia's a Shakespearean actor's final film, and he made movies from like the 70s, 80s, 90s that he won awards. He was one of the best highly decorated actors. And then he made Street Fighter, and he was Bison. It was horrible, and then he died.
But
Street Fighter killed him.
I will say this for Street Fighter, for that movie, he had one of the toughest lines in that film. When Chun-Li was like, "When you came to my village, you killed us, and you killed my father." He said, "For you, it was the worst day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday." Yeah. Bro,
that was a hard line.
Fire. Okay.
That line
but
right
yeah,
there, like, you almost saved the movie, Raul Julia. You almost saved the
almost. And I was a big Jean-Claude Van Damme fan back then too. But along with the movie, what you talking about right now?
So besides the Jean-Claude Van Damme fiasco of him playing an American, talking like this the whole time.
Hey, come on now.
Come on. Oh, that was more like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but anyway. But still, the horrible. So they're making a new Street Fighter movie now, and apparently to come out in the next 2 years, or whatever. And they have a few casting choices that I think I sent you one of them. So 50 Cent is in the movie, and he's playing Balrog. Now, if you look at the image of 50 Cent and Balrog, I'll give it to them. I'm like, all right, 50 can act. 50 did some well in some other projects. But then Jason Momoa is Blanca.
I don't know how I feel about that, bro. And then I heard Roman Reigns is supposed to be Akuma. I heard that was the thing that they were trying to do. I honestly, and I said this on the app, and I'll say it here. I honestly think that they're not serious. Not saying the actors. I'm talking about the people behind it. It's like they're trying to throw as much star power at this film as possible to make it either one or two things. Either it's really a really bad script, they're just throwing money away. Who not going to take it if they're paying them buku amount of money to do it, right? But it's like they're throwing.
Jason Momoa took $12 million home from Minecraft.
I saw that movie recently too. Anyway, but yeah, I think they're just throwing these actors together for star power to boost this film up, and that to me that raises red flags, especially given the nature of how Hollywood treats video game films. They've gotten better, but 94 Street Fighter still leaving a bad taste in people's mouths, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at every time they cast somebody, they're casting a famous person to play certain parts who you can go, I can see that, but it's like, why? Like, I have nothing against 50, but why him as Blanca? I mean, excuse me, as Balrog. Why
Jonathan Majors? But then they picked Jonathan Majors, a fantastic actor who looks the part, who's already in shape, who already was in a boxing movie, and has star power as well. But they put 50 Cent.
Yeah. But
nothing against 50 Cent, but
no, straight up, nothing against him. I love a lot of things he do. I just think that to me, it just screams that they're just throwing star power at the film and they're not really taking it seriously. Not the actors, but the people behind it.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention 50 Cent and Jason.
Yeah, okay. So Monster Hunter Wilds. That's another game which at one time I felt would be a contender for Game of the Year before it even was released because of how good Monster Hunter Worlds was. And I don't know if you've seen the reviews on Steam, but man, it's bad. It is bad. It's overwhelmingly negative on Steam. And the crazy part is my boy Manny, shout outs to you, Manny, if you're watching. He the one that told me that because he was like, PlayStation and I think Xbox, I'm not sure, they're fine from their standpoint, but it is not good on PC. And what's crazy is that Capcom, I've been saying this for years, they have bad optimization when it comes to making or porting games to PC. Your PC will damn near be a toaster oven because they didn't optimize or compress files or whatever. It has your stuff running in the background on a heavy load. And that's what's going on right now. It's having problems. It's overwhelmingly negative on Steam. And what they showed in Wilds at the showcase was new quest, right, for armor and equipment. Fender, the guitar, Fender.
Mm-hmm.
So Fender has a partnership that they got going on with Monster Hunter. That if you complete a quest, it's a limited time quest. If you complete that, you get a guitar gesture in the game where you with the guitar, the Fender Monster Hunter guitar. Then you got free DLC they announced. They got cosmetic paid DLC they also announced. And I'm like, that's not enough right now for all of the stuff that's happening for people on PC rather that's going through what they're going through. And it's like they're waiting on that patch to come through. A lot of people with Monster Hunter, there's like waves, like they have it where you beat the game or play the game up to a certain point, and then players are stuck at that point and they're now waiting for the new stuff to come in to continue playing. That's pretty much where people are at right now. And I felt like that Wild's the thing that they showed wasn't a good thing for PC. Good for the people that got it on PlayStation and Xbox. Good for them, because they also had a roadmap. They also showed like, oh, this is what we take in the game and what's going to be coming soon. So there's some type of roadmap. But it's like, that's nice to have that. But man, people on PC, they're going to have it rough, bro.
I mean, it's not that difficult to explain. PlayStations are made a certain way. Xboxes are made a certain way. It's all like proprietary. So you just have to make a game to be optimized for one PlayStation 5. It's going to be optimized for all of them. The same thing with Xbox or the Xbox X or S or whatever is going to be optimized for all of them. They might have to make a couple of tweaks here and there depending on the version and generation of Xbox or PS5. But for PC, a PC can be different in every household, period. It's not just going to be like the PC 1000. Oh, I have one of those. Oh, you got a PC 2000. Oh, yeah, I have one of those. No, you have Frankenstein PCs that people just made up for use old ass parts. You have PCs that are top of the line. You have PCs that are mid grade. You have PCs that are low grade. You have PCs designed for video editing, and usually they'll be good for games. And then you just have weak PCs that are just for viewing YouTube and checking your email and stuff like that. So to optimize for PC is a pain in the ass. I understand, I get it, but just optimize, I guess, for PC first for like mid grade, and you got like I think 70% of PCs out there for mid grade. Because I know you have a high end PC, right?
Yes, this is
what I have a mid grade.
I was about to get to that. I was about to say that was when I demoed Monster Hunter Wilds when they had the beta testing and all of that. I was in there and I was playing it. The thing that made me get the new high-end PC was that game, because everything looked like snakeskin. Everything looked like PlayStation 1. Okay. And I was like, yeah, I think it's time to upgrade. Yeah, I think this is telling me and letting me know I need to upgrade my PC. And mind you, the one I had before wasn't bad. It was just like, I see where the future is going. If I don't do it now, I'm gonna have to do it sometime in the future. I might as well do it now. But yeah, it comes a time in every PC gamer's life, that one game that you can't play, and it lets you know that it's time to upgrade. And that's what happened to me. And Monster Hunter Wilds was that. But I heard you got something else that's going on with Xbox.
Yeah. This is gonna be on the bad side.
Ooh,
sorry. I usually take the negative news. I don't know why. It's just part of me just like,
you know what it is? I just want to interject real quick.
Go ahead.
It's because and me, you, and Rav talked about this off camera. I know he likes to see the positive side of things. That's why we dubbed him Mr. Positive. you know, but which we do need a person like that because games are supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun, but it's sad that the industry, it's not. You know what I mean? So more negative news comes out more than good news. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to reporting what's happening in game, and it's not just us. That's what the feel of the streets is. Everybody knows that. You know, nobody wants to be taken advantage of. So what's going on with Xbox?
Unfortunately, the streets of Xbox are trying to evict a lot of people who live there. In other words, Microsoft, apparently it was rumored about a week or two ago that they were going to be letting people go at around Summerfest time, and then they were like, no, we're not going to let people go or anything like that. And then they announced the ROG Ally Xbox X, which is the new crazy handheld for Windows and blah, blah, blah. So now everybody's going crazy over that because that's supposed to be like the Switch 2 competitor, the Steam Deck competitor and stuff like that. So everybody's going to happy. Oh, cool. Xbox aligned with Ally. And then literally, they just announced that now they're going to have to be letting go of a few thousand people come July 1st because that's the fiscal year for them, beginning of the new fiscal year for them. So they're trying to trim down the fat, I guess, in the gaming industry for them. And the what's messed up about it is that they're using they're trying to strategically align specific financial goals and gaming goals for them because they purchased Activision for $70 billion. So they spend $70 billion on Activision. By the way, Activision runs Call of Duty, one of the biggest games in history ever. And so now because they want to streamline some things, and also there was a little comment in that little blurb about AI strategies, using AI for future game development, and so they're about to fire, expected to fire in July of 2025. I'll read this little blurb from the article right here. It says Microsoft is reportedly planning to lay off thousands more employees, particularly in sales and support functions for future games, based off the AI technologies. So this is not the first time, because you notice they said again, pretty much said reportedly planning to lay off thousands more. So this is not the first time this happened. In the past 2 years, Microsoft has let go of so many people. It's ridiculous. I have a list here. Would you like to hear the list, Mr. Lee, of how much Microsoft has added to the unemployment rates of America?
Okay? Take it away. Go ahead.
So Microsoft in January of 2023, all right, laid off 10,000 employees, representing about 5% or a little bit less than 5% of its workforce as part of the post-pandemic adjustments. Because remember, all this stuff we were getting off of the whole COVID situation, the whole staying 6 feet away from each other, the whole whatever, working from home, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they let go of 10,000 people. 10,000. That's a lot of freaking people. Fast forward 1 year later, 2024, January 2024, company laid off 1,900 employees across its gaming division. Microsoft closed several game studios, including Arcane Austin and Tango Gameworks, which resulted in additional job losses. So that was another couple hundred jobs they let go. So right now, the count is going at over 13,000 people they let go from last January to May of this year. Or, May of last year, excuse me. June 2024, Microsoft laid off hundreds of employees in their Azure cloud unit, with an estimated 1,000 to 1,500 cuts in the Azure for Operators team. Boom. Right there, it's reached 15,000. September 2024, a little bit later, another 1,600 employees from the gaming division. January 2025. Now we're in this year. Oh, so pardon me, I correct myself. But now we're in this year. So January 2025, there are further layoffs reportedly tied to performance-based issues. They don't know the exact amount of people getting laid off in that one. There's no exact number. Maybe it's too low of a number, or maybe they just didn't report it. Who knows? May 2025. This was a few months ago, not even 2 months ago. Microsoft lays off 6,000 employees, nearly 3% of its global workforce. for the largest rounds of layoffs since 2023, which was the 10,000. June 2025. This is the month we're in right now. June 2025. Microsoft made additional job cuts, including 305 employees in Washington State. So one factor that they let people go of is unknown, but then 305 on top of that, which was actually recorded, were also laid off. And now July 2025, which is pretty much next week, or when you'll be watching this video when we drop this video, Microsoft is reportedly planning to lay off thousands of employees, particularly in sales and support functions. Now, that's all the information that I can muster there. Due to restructuring and realigning with the AI structure base for future games and just future analyzing, especially with the fiscal year that they don't want to spend that much money because AI is going to take away a lot of those jobs. And a lot of people were so worried about it like a year ago when the first AI thing started popping up, like really like to be used for, especially for like artists, like pretty much you and me, like we're like comic book and graffiti artists. And a lot of that stuff is kind of taken over by AI right now, you know?
Yeah.
So now it's taking over the video game industry. Now, if they use it as a tool, it's fine. If you use it as a tool, it's wonderful because people can still keep their jobs, use it as a tool, make their jobs a little easier, and still get your check. Nah. A lot of corporate people want to use that AI as a replacement for the worker completely, and they just type in a little prompt, I want a video game made from start to finish, and blah, blah, blah. And they just write a story, a couple paragraphs, and boom, they have like a mini game, and then they keep expanding on that. One person. Now, I guess that's great for a new up-and-comer, but somebody who's been doing it for 20 years, and that's their livelihood, that's messed up. And this is Microsoft.
Yeah.
This is the number one company.
It's a combination of one, definitely and it's a combination of stuff. It's also timing has to play a big role in this too, because you hit the hammer on the nail when you brought up the Blizzard Activision acquirement. That is huge because they acquired a mass amount of studios in one go. I don't know if you saw that meme where it's like
$70 billion.
They show PlayStation. I think PlayStation was like Thanos or something like that, and he had the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's about to like beat up on the Avengers, and then Xbox damn portals all of these companies out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is what happens. You have all of these studios underneath you. I was gonna say those cuts were gonna come eventually. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen. They did this to combat the fact that PlayStation kept getting all these exclusives. They're like, I bet we know we're not gonna be able to beat you in that front, but we'll buy out the studios that make these massive great games because you only buying their rights. We're literally gonna buy the studio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't cut us out of the exclusives if we do that. You can't keep Call of Duty on your platform if we bought the studio that made it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like by having all of these new companies with all of these new employees, there were going to be some cuts. I think the cuts happen even faster. That's why I said timing, right? I said timing, and I said, everything coming together, the combination. The other part of that combination is AI, the advancement of how fast this is moving. So it's like, yo, we were going to cut y'all. We eventually, but now the AI is popping up. We're going to cut y'all even faster. And they are one of the leading gaming cloud internet AI companies. Say what you want about Xbox. I mean, I'll be a fanboy for them for whatever. But at the same token, I'm gonna keep it real. They are one of the biggest leading software guys to make stuff that's going on. That's the reason why they're seeing that you guys could win the console war. We don't care. We gave up on that because we're gonna put the games everywhere. And how are we gonna do that? They're gonna do that using the power of AI and advancement with cloud. They invested all their money. They're doubling down on all of that. They're trying to turn their whole thing into Netflix. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn gaming into Netflix. And we may not need this many people that we got going on. So they're going to have to be out the door. It's sad to hear that. I'm just hoping that these people that were in these departments, that were developers that made games that have these knowledges, don't let this be the end of you. There's so many companies that started new companies off the backs of stuff like this. It's not when one door closes, don't look at it as, oh, the AI is going to take my job. I mean, the AI is coming for everybody. I'm sorry. AI, if you're not a doctor, and even them, they, if you're not something that is like essentially needed, it's coming for everybody. That's just the wave of the future right there. You know what I mean?
There's already AI, and this is a complete side note because you know how I love random shit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a complete side note. I mean, it involves AI. It's leaving the gaming industry, but it's going into another creative industry with music. Because I don't know if you heard.
Oh, trust me, I've heard. It's
no,
there.
But did you hear that one of our favorite beat makers by the name of Timbaland created his first AI artist? It's a singing girl, but she's not real, and he's making an album with this AI artist.
Oh boy, nah, we got.
And the thing is that they gave her a face, they gave her a body, they gave her a whole image. It's not real. It's a Japanese girl. I forgot what her name was, but she is all AI. The voice is AI.
Oh my god,
the image is AI. The only thing that's real is the beats because he's making them from scratch, and she's creating. He's just describing to the voice or the computer how he wants the voice to sound and to go up and down and blah 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 blah, and the computer almost does it perfect, and then he tweaks little things. So he's making a female Japanese AI artist because the music industry is biggest in Japan and in the world. I don't know if you knew that. America's like number 2.
Look, man. I said, it's
I'm not
coming.
supporting that. I'm not supporting that.
It's coming for everybody, and the thing is, just to keep on topic about, let's talk about AI and video games. And you said Timbaland making this imaginary person from AI.
Yeah,
it's coming for everybody, whether it be the music industry, whether it be movies and films, as you clearly see with the gorilla stuff that they got floating around on the internet that's going wild right now. That AI
I will edit one of the funnier ones right here.
That AI is coming for everybody. So I expect this won't be the last time we hear about these layoffs coming from Microsoft. I guarantee you this will not be the last we hear about it. And you're going to hear about it from PlayStation. You're going to hear about it from Nintendo, even though I think they're going to be more on a quieter tip because they are, it's Japan-based companies. So they're going to keep that in-house. So you may not hear as much about it from them, but it's happening across the board. Especially the more we advance in technology. And like you said, I do believe that it should be used as a tool and not something to replace. Because even though it's really good right now for whatever it is, but I would love to have that be done in a way where it benefits these people that have been playing and making games, because there's certain things the AI just can't do. You understand? At the end of the day, it's prompts. Somebody has to put that in there. You know what I mean? Somebody has to put that in. A creative mind needs to be behind that. And even though it's creative right now, but my thing is, I feel more comfortable if it's coming from someone legit that's able to do this and able to use it for what it's supposed to be used for, like you said, as a tool to help, rather than sit there and replace. Because if it replaces, then what are we waiting on? We're waiting on, because at this point, if a company like Xbox is using it the way other companies I figure we're going to be using it, and make it, games shouldn't take that long now. I shouldn't be waiting years for the next whatever game. It should take a prompt, and my game should be ready in about 3 to 4 months.
Pretty much.
It's
just sad. I feel kind of bad about that. Like, I mean, hey, even if they create like fantastic new worlds and video games or movies or as like it almost feels wrong to me. Like say for the third time, use it as a tool, not replacement, so that people could still get a check, people could still feed their families. People can still be
The- the-
creative.
The only
themselves.
issue is going to come in when corporate greed kicks in, and that's always going to be the case, because what's going to happen is they're always going to go for the lesser and cheaper option. It's going to be cheaper to have the computer do it than pay you or whoever the design the dev is to make or create the game, when they can just boop and it's done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be, again, we need game laws. Not these made up game laws that these companies be making up themselves. Like, you do this to your system after you bought it, we'll brick it. Like, we need better.
We're gonna
game
sell
laws.
we're gonna sell you a key link
Oh,
for a
come on
game,
now.
but not the whole
You don't
game.
you don't play, you don't own the game, you're licensing the game. Like, who's making these laws up? Like, we need better laws when it comes to game. We need better laws for gaming, movies. These things need to be protected before this gets out of hand.
Yes.
It needs to be made a tool and not a replacement, like you said.
I have law number one. I have law number one right now.
Oh, here we go. What's the law?
You want to hear law number one?
What's law number one?
All right. All artistic creations, such as video games, movies, art, music, has to be done by humans. At least 90% of it has to be done by humans. 90% of the project. So you can use 10% AI. So you use the AI as guidelines. You use the AI for the most difficult parts of sections or whatever, and then the rest has to be human made, human developed, human designed, human engineered, everything. 90%. So only 10% is AI influenced, not created, influenced by AI. I think that is a good rule or law number one in the creative space.
Here's my debate and counter to that. Well, I'm not trying to debate or counter you in a negative sense. I'm just saying, how do you prove that though? How do you prove that it wasn't, that it's 90% of the person doing it and not 100% the AI? Like, how do we do that?
Well, we'll have to develop some sort of a testing ground. We'll let AI figure that out.
Great, just great.
We'll let AI police itself.
Let AI police itself. Okay. And then you have the biggest fear. The biggest fear that everybody thinks is gonna happen is gonna become sentient. Okay.
Skynet.
All right. So on that little tidbit, my section and my portion is done. I'm going to turn it over to my guy. We'll turn it over to you, Mr. Rav.
Mr. Rav, take it over, sir. What are your thoughts on Microsoft layoffs and the AI taking it over? And do you have any rules for possible future AI involvement in games?
All right. So my opinion on AI with gaming is tricky because it is helpful. Like, a lot of times we'll play games, we'll complain about the AI of this enemy is bad. They don't see you when you're sneaking around them. They don't attack you when you're right in front of their face. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we complain about his AI, about the AI that's in these computers. Obviously, it's not the AI that is up to date the way, like, AI is in technology the way it is now. We think of AI now as image development and software creation and prompts and things like that, where AI has been in video gaming, computer programming for the last 10 years. We've seen so many different versions of the way these enemies attack you and they supposedly see you and all these things. It is helpful when the enemy can see you. It gives you a more realistic and more what do they call it? Believable experience when you're being attacked because you were seen, you were spotted, you made a mistake, versus where it takes away the fun. The fun still needs to be had in a video game. It's a video game. It's not the point is a game to have fun, to enjoy yourself, to experience something. If you can't experience these things because of AI, you do still need to have some sort of a kill switch, or like flaw detection or whatever it is, where it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that enemy is just dumb. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you programmed it into the system. That's not necessarily AI. That's still human intelligence programming that into the bot. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But AI can help with those situations. We've seen it in Assassin's Creed. How many times have you been able to sneak around and you were right in front of the guy dancing around and shit, and they don't do anything to you? They're just standing there looking at you. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think that the AI in that can improve, but not improve to a point where it doesn't make the game fun. And I think that's important. Where it comes to the AI taking over making of video games is a whole nother thing where if it's putting people out of jobs, obviously that's bad. The government, the world, the people in general need an economy. And if you can't make money, how are you expected to survive? AI is nice because it makes the job easier, but it should never replace the job. You should still have that person there to
Mhm.
program the AI, to control the AI, to be able to put the AI in its place when it's going too far.
The AI being used as a tool is wonderful, but being used as a replacement is messed up.
Yeah.
So we were trying to say specifically. Oh yeah, thank you. I changed my shirt. Um, we were trying to say specifically is just that exactly what you were just saying. So
Mhm.
many people losing their jobs. They kept saying it's about streamlining this and streamlining that and cost effective this and whatever because it's a business. Yes, we know it's a business, but for since 2023, losing almost 20,000 jobs
Yeah.
and you're streamlining. You just spent $70 billion buying another studio because you want the Call of Duty name or you want whatever the hell they're doing, and then to justify spending 70 billion to then later let go of another couple thousand people and then say, "Oh, we're going to use AI to streamline our costs, to create better games, create better whatever." It's just like, nah, man. You're supposed to have those people use AI as a tool to
Yeah.
make production of those games faster, so that way they come out earlier, sooner, to make more money faster. Because of the AI, just like you said, can spot those problems or can control the NPC reactions and
Right.
increase the level of fun in the gaming experience, a more realistic experience, believable, like you said,
Mhm.
then that would make more money in sales, and yet you wouldn't have to get rid of
The
the
human aspect of
personnel.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to get rid of the personnel
You
at all because you're making instead of releasing 2 games a year
Mhm.
that takes 5 years of development each, you
Right.
release 5 games a year that'll take 2 years of development each.
Right.
So
Well,
you'd make more money. Yeah.
we talked off camera. We had mentioned a lot of the Microsoft firings supposedly are redundancies. They bought however many companies because along with Activision, Bethesda, and all these other companies that they purchased in the last 3 to 5 years or whatever it is, there's going to be redundancies. You don't need 17 payroll people. You don't need the same programmers and all this, and I understand that. I'm not defending Microsoft. I don't agree with the firing at all. We know it's redundancies. You bought another company that had all these things you already have and that has worked for you for this many years or whatever. And that makes sense. But it also, you're not considering these people's lives. You're obviously not, you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? It sucks.
That's the popular consensus with like what you were about to say, the big companies, big
Mhm.
corporate companies. They're
Right.
like, hey, everything's a number. We got to keep this afloat, this main thing afloat. So we got to
Mhm.
cut all the little numbers at the bottom.
Right.
So I mean, yes, I get it. We all understand that. Instead of having 2 mainstream games a year, that will take 5 years.
Mhm.
Take 5 games mainstream a year, and that'll take 2 years. So you'll get your money's, you'll get your P&L, your bottom line
Mhm.
built up anyway.
Think Microsoft is not necessarily, they're not scared because they're doing something different that other
It's
companies
fucking
aren't doing.
Microsoft.
No. Hold up. But
What the fuck are they
look,
scared of?
not necessarily scared.
Yeah, yeah,
Xbox, the Xbox department in general, they've got Microsoft over them. They're making games, they're making systems that weren't doing well for the last 6, 7, 8 years, right? They've been failing. Now, for the last few years, they're starting to, like everybody says, the dominoes are falling. They're starting to actually succeed in what their goal is. They're trying to make money. They're doing successful games. Indiana Jones, South of Midnight, and all these games are doing well for themselves. I don't know if South of Midnight is doing as well as people hope, but either way,
Mhm.
they're doing good. But maybe they need to. With their plan with Game Pass is not to focus on gigantic PS5 level first party games. They're focusing more on smaller Xbox
Independent.
Game Pass games. They're focusing on just these smaller games that are still fun, but they just don't. They're not good at it yet. They're getting there. They're finally figuring out their footing with these games that they're trying out. Which surprisingly, I didn't think Indiana Jones was going to be as good as it is. You know, and all this. Everybody's praised that game and saying how good it is. South of Midnight is a gorgeous looking game and it's fun, but it's not on the level that like Astrobot is or like some games similar to it. It's a very good game. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but it's also like it's a stepping stone. Hopefully, in a few years, they're able to get those big first party games out the way faster and have these people that they could be keeping because they don't necessarily have to fire these people. They can keep these people and have them just make smaller games. Maybe have those studios that they're firing them from make a second game that's on top of the Call of Duties, on top of the South of Midnight, on top of the Indiana Jones. Have them make a second game instead of firing them because they're there for something. They're there as a redundancy. They could be doing a second thing. Instead of getting rid of them, use them. You know what I mean? Maybe you can't pay them just yet, but
They could be
that
working on
over
more
time will come.
tools.
You're a fucking $70 billion or $100 and something billion company. You can pay these people. It's not like you can't. If you can make updates for Windows and all these other softwares that you have, Microsoft Office and all these things, and have these people just update random little bullshit. You can do the same thing with these games and have them do second things, or have them do updates for these games, or have them do DLC, or have them do tweaks and testing. And there's so many aspects for these development of these games that they can put them to do, and it sucks that they're getting rid of them. You know what I mean? It's really terrible.
The whole AI ruling thing, like we came with one rule,
All
and
right.
we just threw the idea back and forth. So it's just an
Yeah.
idea stage in case it takes over. But what would you add to, like, would you make a second rule? Would you change the first? What would be your opinion on the AI ruling?
So my opinion on the AI ruling is always have a kill switch. The way I see it is that if you're gonna have AI, put that shit in a fucking mouse maze. Make it can't get out, where you can always lock it down if you need to lock it down. Have a physical kill switch to be able to shut this thing down if it ever goes awry. You know what I mean? Because we've seen Terminator, we've seen all these horrible, you
If
know,
there a freaking a Matrix type of
yeah,
scenario, we got to use these humans for batteries. Fuck
right,
this.
yeah, no,
Like, who will be the
that's
Neo? Like,
yeah,
click.
yep. Nah,
Oh,
they gotta find a way to turn it off. That's the one thing, and I don't think the guys who created AI were the ones to be like, no, we don't want anything to do with this, and ran away from it and said shut it down, and didn't know how to shut it down because AI took over already.
so there's a rumored story. This is gonna be some random shit that Ray always comes up with some random shit, but there's a rumored story. Okay, I've heard about this story. I believe maybe like 2-3 years ago, maybe more than that. You can look it up, Google it. Hopefully it's not true, and it's just an interesting story that somebody penned
Yeah, okay.
instead of
Yeah, we'll
actually
see.
happening.
Uh,
So the story is that somewhere in Europe or Russia, Nova Scotia, wherever the hell is that, a group of scientists created an AI. They kind of locked them away, or locked it away in a
mhm.
specific intranet, sort of speaks, in just one
Yeah,
building,
right.
and then they fed him bits and pieces of the internet, like recorded whatever. It wasn't fully into the internet, it just fed them bits and pieces. And then that AI that they created became extremely racist against humans that wanted to destroy everything. And then they burned the freaking all the memory logs of this thing. They killed it by physically destroying all the memory, because the AI, not the actual essential design,
Yeah,
like the first parts, but when it didn't become sentient or anything. It just,
right.
oh, the
Just
answer to the
bounce around
test
the
is
room.
to
Yeah,
destroy all humans. Like what?
Yeah.
What?
You know what they got to do, right?
Eat the
Uh,
destroyer humans. Click. It's like
they
fuck
the
you.
government has approved has officially made sure that aliens exist. Have the AI fight the aliens. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Let's go. We'll be fine. Have the AI fight the aliens.
I think the aliens showed up because like, yo, you guys mess with AI. Stop it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. We did that already.
We did this. We did this already. Guess what? We weren't always green.
That's why we're looking for your planet. Going back to the conversation you had with Leeboy, with the Capcom showcase, we were talking about Pragmata, and Pragmata is an interesting game. I'm to me it looks boring. To me, it looks
Okay.
like a very pretty game, but it doesn't look exciting. It doesn't look fun. It looks like you're doing a lot of standing around, like trying to be an action game, trying to fight these robots, but you're there doing these little puzzles from like either BioShock or like an iPhone game or something like that, where it's like you got to like match the little where the water is going to go in the pipe, and all that stuff to figure out where it's going to kill to take the armor off these robots. To me, that doesn't sound fun. If I'm going to shoot something, if I want to play that type of game, that's I don't want to be stopped every single fight to do a puzzle. That sounds like an iPhone game. It sounds like a mobile game. It does not sound like a
That sounds annoying.
it sounds very annoying.
But
And
we haven't played the game yet. We don't know.
yeah, no, yeah. But from according to the trailer from the Capcom showcase, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't look fun. Maybe it is. It's a pretty looking game. It may have an interesting story, but I don't know if they gave enough in that trailer or in that showcase to say what the story is about. Um, it's all right.
Any other games stood out to you though?
So yeah, the only game that stood out to me because Resident Evil looks good, but
Definitely. Oh,
say,
Onimusha.
yeah, Onimusha was the one that really like popped for me because I'm not into samurai games. I'm not into like that type of action game. And that game for some reason like popped. It stood out to me. It made an impact. It looks really good.
Ghost of Tsushima.
It I eh.
Shadows?
Look, I'm not saying I didn't like it. Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm not saying I didn't like it. They're just not. They're not drawing me in.
Like Ghost.
Onimusha looks good. So Onimusha has a lot of like it's got a cool like faster paced. It's just an action game. It's not you're not really playing the role playing parts of it. It's an action game. You're definitely fighting. You're fighting these monsters. You're fighting demons. It's got a little more fantastical elements into it, and I think that makes more for a fun. Yeah, it's got a more fun experience overall, and I think that's the game that really stuck out to me out of the whole showcase.
Yeah, I like the design concept of the swords, the whole gun he has, absorbing souls and stuff like that. The monster designs are really cool.
Yep.
The movements, it's the overall, like I said, the overall dark design aesthetic. It definitely looks cool. Definitely something that I'm definitely gonna get. I mentioned it before.
Yep.
When we talk about Summerfest, man. Well, I know before we spoke about Microsoft and Xbox, but I know in they had mentioned VR.
Yes.
And the Meta Quest, and there's like a. Well, I don't know if you want to talk about it because I think you know a little bit more about it than I do because I didn't see the freaking thing. You did.
Yeah. So
But
this would have
I
been.
read an article. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this would have been my only quick hit because this is the only thing that stood out that was significant enough to really pop to me. Microsoft made a deal with MetaQuest to have the partnership to put out Xbox games and Xbox Game Pass type games in MetaQuest. Now, obviously, Microsoft isn't doing their own VR headset, like PlayStation has and Steam and all these other companies or whatever. Not Steam, you know what I mean? Meta. But you can play on a big screen in your eyes. You know what I mean? That's all it is. You're playing on a 120 inch screen. But again, we talked about this multiple times now. AR glasses are the future when it comes to this stuff. So why? You know what I mean? Like they could have saved some money maybe and just went with maybe somebody else. But whatever. It is what it is.
I think they just wanted to buy the licensing.
Meta or Microsoft?
Well, they combine because Meta is technically Facebook.
Yes.
So Facebook, they want to do something that was, I forget the owner's name. They're all like the same person to me. I know he wants to do something. But we'll put his name somewhere.
Yeah, why can't we remember his name right now? He's not rememberable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he wants to do something with Meta where people are like in a metaverse Facebook thing where you meet up with your friends on Facebook, but like you're an avatar, avatar and whatever, and like ooh, hey, I don't want to see you in real life. I want to see you on Facebook. Anyway,
yeah.
It's interesting tech. I from what you described and from what I read, for me, I would use the AR glasses or any type of virtual reality headset or whatever. I would use it for either
this.
for like a small group of friends to play a game,
Mm.
and or movies,
Yeah.
TV shows, spectacular things, or single player games, and that's about it. I wouldn't go put on a headset and be like, "Hey, buddy, you're in Japan. What's going on? Let's go get a fake digital beer over here."
Well, all right. So, question: have you ever played a VR game? Have you ever tried a VR?
I believe I have.
Okay.
And I believe I didn't like it.
Okay.
Because it gave me
dizzy, the nauseousness.
The vertigo,
motion sickness. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, at that time, this is really old. Everything was red, different shades of red. So there was
you're talking.
It was a long time ago.
Nintendo VR. What was that back in the day?
Kid.
The 3.
Yeah, I was a kid. I was a kid.
Wow. Yeah. It's not the same, buddy. This is a whole another.
Yeah, I've seen stuff. I'm like, wow.
Okay. Yeah. Jesus
Can't
Christ.
afford it.
He said everything was red. You just bringing nightmare flashbacks in, bro. That's horrible.
Yeah, but it was like Game Boy Red.
Yeah, it was a Nintendo VR boy or whatever the fuck it was. It was some terrible shit. Yeah. This is definitely not that. This MetaQuest is a whole nother thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Holy shit, bro.
It's still VR.
Holy shit, bro. All right.
I was a kid. I was a child.
No, I when I said did you try VR, I didn't mean then. I meant now. Fuck.
Nah. The answer is no.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna edit that out, because
Jesus Christ. Damn, bro. I did not mean that. I meant the now. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Nah.
All right. Okay. So
next.
Oh shit. That's great.
What are we gonna ask?
Anyway, so going to the VR thing, if you try now, it is a cool concept. It is nice, but the quality of the games are not there. You know, like I guess it's just hard to have the processor figuring out where your hands are versus where your eyes are versus what's coming at your eyes. You know what I mean? And measuring all of that stuff. So the quality of games isn't there. There are a few kind of standout games that really like make it look like it works, but those graphics are not Call of Duty quality, you know what I mean, or anything like that. The closest maybe would have been like there was a PSVR game that that's kind of like Grand Theft Auto where you're robbing a town or whatever. That's pretty cool. And then there's these VR games where you're like the music games where you're like slicing the notes and all that stuff. I can't Beat Saber or whatever. And those games look really cool and they played really cool. There was also a couple of games where you're like shooting that bullets and you're like, you know, they work really well. Those games are cool, but the graphics are very simple. So for people who are thinking, oh, they made a deal with Microsoft that you're going to be getting Call of Duty and all of these Bethesda and Skyrim and all of these games, you're going to be sadly mistaken because all you're getting is a TV
waiting a long time.
Well, no, because Microsoft isn't interested in doing a VR set. They've said that they're not interested in doing those type of games. They're not interested in doing those type of those type of things. They just want
AAA.
Yeah, they want to make regular AAA games to play on a screen. So when you're getting the VR set, it's cool because you can now download games on Meta, but you're going to be playing them like if you're playing on a TV, maybe it's a very large TV, maybe you don't have a big TV, maybe all you have is your VR headset. So that's beneficial to those people, but it's not like you're going to be playing those games in VR. You're not getting VR versions of those games. You're just playing them on a larger TV in your eyes. So it's kind of disappointing. It's nice. It's cool. Maybe there's a little bit of money to be had there, but I don't really think that it's going to be a significant jump in sales for either company for any reason,
So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in the AR glasses.
Hell yeah.
I'm interested in the 120-inch screen presented to you in just
especially the PS6 ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, whenever that comes out.
Right.
But like we spoke about this a segment I had before,
right?
About the AR glasses, specifically about the virtual glasses, and that's what I'm really interested. I don't want a whole freaking headset. I don't want to look like a freaking RoboCop walking around with the thing on. Just regular glasses. I'll sit down on an airplane, sit down on a train.
Yep.
Going somewhere, going whatever, long trip, whatever, something like that.
Even
or in my
if
house.
You're married, if you're married and you got your wife next to you and she wants to watch Ghost Hunters and you want to watch PlayStation or something or Xbox, whatever, you can sit next to her and she can't complain. You're gone.
You want to watch the Matrix trilogy and she wants to watch the Twilight trilogy. And,
yeah.
Go ahead, babe. You go here. Yeah, beat him up, Neo. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, I knew.
Yep. You're walking around like this the whole time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, vampires suck. Garbage trash. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. Follow us on Blue Sky, on the TikTok, on what the hell else are we on? We're on everything that you could possibly think of. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, play the
games that you enjoy.
Play the games that you enjoy. Yes, thank you, Mr. Rav. Have a good night. Mr. Lee, thank you for being an earlier part of the video. And
Hey, boy.
peace. We out.